last night here, very funny. You've seen him at the Montreal Comedy Festival. You saw him on CBC. Give it up for the very funny Garrett Clark, everybody!
There you go. You get it. St. John, how are you guys? Yeah? Is that good? Is that bad? Yeah! You guys are beautiful. What a gorgeous club. What a gorgeous night. Look at these wooden beams. That's heritage if I ever saw it. You guys in your downtown that's actually uptown, but is actually downtown. The only city I've ever been to that calls it that. How are you guys? You having a good night? Thank you so much for being here. I am very excited. I've fallen in love with New Brunswick. I've been fortunate enough to spend the last 3 weeks here, but in the last year of my life, I've been spending a lot more time than I ever have in this province. Last summer was the first time I came here, and I saw my first moose. Yes. You guys are thrilled. You guys always get so excited when you learn that someone hasn't seen a moose. You get so thrilled to tell them. And I saw my first one, and you guys are like, oh, did you see George? George the moose? Oh, it was Mickey, the other one, yeah, sorry. But you guys always tell people about their size. That's the first thing you go to when you find out someone hasn't seen one. You're like, oh, they're really big. And I'm like, sure, okay, I believe that. I picture a horse maybe a little taller with antlers. Big, but no. These things are 3 stories high. The absolute manliest thing I've ever seen in my entire life. The epitome of testosterone. They have triceps, for crying out loud. And abs. Some of them are wearing tap-out shirts, I swear to God. That's how manly these beasts are. And it looks like it hurts. It looks painful to be a moose. It looks like someone injected their face with testosterone, and they are now exploding out of themselves, just like long, like there's too much face for frame. It's coming out like a Picasso, and the nose of an 80-year-old alcoholic, just. And these tiny little legs, they're top heavy. And what do they eat? No one knows. No one knows what meese eat. That's plural for moose, right? Meese? That sounds right to me. Someone once told me it was bark off a tree. Bark. Like, bark. Bark. Can you understand me better if I pronounce it like that? Bark. You guys are like, what's bark? But how much bark? Like, it doesn't make sense. This is a huge animal. They're eating bark. Where's the protein? Are they straight up eating 3 entire Sitka spruce trees and then going back into the woods and doing push-ups? Just doing CrossFit in the woods after eating half a forest? That's what it would take. Thank God they're not meat eaters. Can you imagine that? A meat-eating moose? That's the scariest thing I've ever thought of in my entire life. Just this 3-story high, antlered beast running through the forest, frothing at the mouth. I'll tell you one thing, if they were meat eaters, we would not be pulling over to take pictures on the side of the road. We'd be locking doors and calling 911 because this is now a situation. And they're just captivating. There's something so majestic about them. Like, I saw this thing come out of the woods, and they're huge, but they seem to be moving in slow motion all the time. They just come out just... huge dick. Like, heavy dick. Like, you can tell it's heavy because of the delay of the swing when it walks. It's like... it's a step behind where you feel it should be. It's got drag. And I feel like because their legs are so skinny, their balance is dependent on the opposite swing of the dick. Like a pendulum. A pendulum. And that's the females, for Christ's sake. That's how manly this animal is. Is the chicks have the biggest dicks you've ever seen in your life. That is a manly animal. That took a lot out of me. I'm like catching my breath right now. You know, it's really fun. Like in different parts of this country, the wildlife signs are very different. Even within the same province, a sign for wildlife on the side of a highway can be drastically different from the other side of the province. I was in Northern Ontario not long ago, and the sign for a moose is horrifying. It's just the silhouette, like as most signs are, it's the silhouette of the moose, but a very aggressive moose. It's like it's like going this way. It's like the antlers are pointing like, and its chest is like it's got chest hair on the silhouette. It does. I'm not lying. And it's and this tiny little ass. It's like someone Play-Doh'd it up to the like this half, and its eyes are lit up. Like how do you have a shadow with lit up eyes? But it is. And it doesn't say anything on the sign except night danger. That's all it says. That's terrifying, that sign. If you're not from a part of the world that you immediately recognize what that silhouette is supposed to be, it looks like it's warning you about a terrifying animal called night danger that's lurking around in the woods. It sounds like a Bond villain. I wouldn't go in there if I were you. Night danger was spotted there last night. Night danger isn't known to be very forgiving. Night danger voted for Trump! And feels not an ounce of remorse. Some scary shit. And the sign scared me. It was the middle of the day. I was terrified. That's it. You know, I moved to Canada at such an age in my life that I don't know at this point in my life what is Australian lingo and what is just kiddie talk. Do you know what I mean? Because my whole life, my dad always called going to bed Jim Jam Nine-Eye. And I'm not sure at this point in my adult life if that's an actual Australian term for going to bed, or if that's just what he said to me because I was a child. Like, I don't know if there's grown men walking the streets of Sydney right now going, "Oh, Sterling, that was a rough day at work, mate. I'm bloody exhausted. I think I'm going to go straight home and go Jim Jam Nine-Eye. Time for Jimmy Jammy, Sterling." Or if you see something attractive, like a nice sunset, that's gorgy gumdrops. Like, how Australian does that sound? "Oh, that's gorgy gumdrops." "Oh, did you see Stacey tonight? She's looking gorgy gumdrops." Or a good meal, that's delishy McGrishy. Going to the toilet, that's poopy bum bottom. One time my friend Rob fell asleep on the toilet. He went poopy bum Nine-Eye. He went Jim Jam bum bottom, and that's a true story, ladies and gentlemen. He fell into the bath when he woke up. He did. He fell asleep on the toilet, and his legs fell asleep with him. And he was like plastered. He woke up and he was like on the toilet. He was like, "Ah!" And he tried to get up and run away, but his legs were asleep, so he just kind of like keeled over into the bathtub, face down, ass up. That's the way he liked to fuck. I'll tell him you said so. I'll pass that on to Rob. First, I think it's really nice that you guys are here, by the way. This is my album recording. We've established that. Thank you for being here. I couldn't have chosen, sincerely, a better club. I don't think he's even recording. I'm just like trying to pose into the camera.
Wait, there's more.
I know there's more. I went back to Australia for the first time in 3 years in October, and I was really curious as to how I would deal with a certain thing. Because when people find out you grew up in Australia, the first question they ask is about the insects and the crazy animals that we have there. Like I grew up in Australia, we were taught as children to shake our shoes before we put them on, in case there's a spider coiled up or a snake coiled up or like a big insect. It's true, I never found anything, but I would wake up once a week in my room with a spider the size of my hand in the corner of my bedroom, a huntsman spider, hairy, disgusting, like huge. Now, I was really curious to see how I would deal with this situation as a grown-up, going back in October, as a man. I was nervous, because these things creep me out. And it turns out there is a protocol. So if you guys are planning on visiting Australia, you will come about these huntsman spiders. Here's what you do. Step number one, when you find it in the corner of your room, step one is you get your dad. And if your dad isn't available, just get a dad. Get any dad that's available. They know what to do. They'll sweep it out. Step number two is you burn the house down and move to Canada, because fuck that shit. You can see their heart beating. Some of them are so big they have fingerprints, for crying out loud. They have social security numbers, for Christ's sake. That's night danger. If there's any animal that warrants that title, it's that creepy ass animal. I'll tell you why that's night danger, because they appear in the middle of your Jim Jam Nine. They're the furthest thing from Gorgy Gumdrops. And as soon as you see them, you're immediately going poopy bum bottom. On site. You guys okay? I've been traveling like a madman. It's been crazy. I was just in Scotland recently. Has anyone been there? Well, I feel like you would have said that to anything I said. Who's taking it in the ass? Woo! I'm here! Do you guys know I'm here? I better be louder! So everyone knows I'm here! How long ago were you in Scotland?
2 weeks.
2 weeks ago? Okay.
No.
How long?
August.
You know,
2 weeks.
okay, I'm right here. You don't have to yell at me. I know. I got that before I was on stage, man. Trust me. Yeah. Right on. It was a beautiful country, hey? Beautiful. A lot of things stood out to me, like the things you would expect, like the castles, the history. One thing more than anything stood out to me. I don't know if you experienced this, but to me, the sinks. Every single sink in that country is about 900 years old. Do you guys know those sinks that have a separate faucet for each temperature? Like on one side of the sink, there's the hot faucet. And on the other side, there's the cold. How am I supposed to wash my hands in that shit? Who did that? Whose idea was this? Because it's not like the hot faucet is warm water. It's scalding hot. It's never seen a day of cold in its life. Am I supposed to just cup my hands and fill an appropriate amount of cold water in first? And then just jab it underneath the boiling hot water until the right mix is in my hands? Is that the idea? And then there's no hands left for soap. Am I supposed to just pump it in with my chin or the back of my hands and try to catch it before it hits the porcelain? Am I supposed to fill the sink like a bird bath and just kind of douse myself in it? Get your shit together, Scotland. What the hell is going on over there? Where's my bidet? That's what I want to know. That's a sink consistent with bidets, in my experience. You guys know bidets, right? Yeah. It's the water fountain we all realized isn't a water fountain about halfway through our first time using it. We won't make that mistake again. We'll be adults. Thank God those don't have separate faucets. That would get a little messy, wouldn't it? Which side do I burn tonight? I had some fun with my Siri while I was out there. I don't know if you guys are aware of this, but you can now change the dialect on your iPhone. Did you guys know that?
Yes.
It's fun.
Awesome.
But you can now change, like a lot of you probably knew you can change the language. So if you're learning Italian or whatever language, your iPhone will speak to you and spell everything in that language. It's awesome. It's fun. But if you can now change the accent. Like within the English language, there's about 10 different accents you can change it from. You can change it from American to English, Scottish, Australian, even Indian, but in English. That's a real thing. That's on your iPhone right now. And this is a thrill for me when I found out, because I grew up in Australia, and for years my iPhone has had a hard time understanding crucial words I've been trying to say. Simple things. I would try to call my sister, whose name is Devon Clark, and I'd be like, "Oi, Siri, call Devon Clark." And she'd respond confused with her North American accent and say, "I'm sorry, I don't have a Devon Clark in your contacts." I'd be like, "Clark? No, Clark! Devon Clark!" And force the R so she could understand. But now that she's Australian, it's much easier. All I have to do is be like, "Oi, Siri, call Devon Clark." And now she politely responds with, "Oh, you mean your fucking sister? Oh, fucking yeah. Let's give her a bloody ring. What a good little brother." It's much easier. The GPS is consistent too. Do it when you leave the venue tonight. Change it to Australian for your own entertainment. Ask for directions anywhere. I'll show you how. Be like, "Oi, Siri, give me directions to the nearest McDonald's." And she'll be like, "Right, mate, you're going to go about 500 meters to the north, then turn left. After that, oh, check out the size of that fucking moose. She's a fucking beauty. Look at that big fucking dick. Fucking yeah." Woo! Anyway, then turn right and whammo blammo, you're at Mickey D's. I'll have a quarter pounder. She's eating now. It's getting disturbing how real this technology is getting. She's placing food orders for crying out loud. Turning into a bloody Tamagotchi for crying out. I have to feed her now. Do you guys remember those things? Tamagotchis? It was like that first little portable thing you had to feed. It was a keychain. You had to feed your keychain. That's what it was. You had to feed and shit your keychain. It was a responsibility on your keys. Ridiculous. They were causing car accidents. People got depressed if their Tamagotchi died. To me, it was always the name that got me, though. Tamagotchi? That sounds like a town in New Brunswick. Miramichi, Tamagotchi, Tickle my gooch. Suck a macaque. Suck a maquack. That's the one. Suck a maquack. It's a real place. I was there last weekend. It was great. Turn left at Tickle my gooch. And you hit Suck a maquack. That was a fucking good high five. I really felt that. You know, you just connect, you know? Jurassic Park. Oh, I forgot. There's a camera right here, by the way. You're in it. We got that high five? Tyler? We got the high five. That's it. I'm just getting off now. That's the album. I've always wanted to do that. Just make a DVD and just have, like, a friend of mine is a street performer, and he would, like, after, he's a very impressive, very talented guy, he would have a DVD that he would sell after to, you know, make a couple extra bucks and just sort of get his stuff out there. When people took the DVD home after this incredibly impressive act, they put it in their player and it was just footage of him watching an entire sports game eating chips. Just for, like, literally, like, 2 hours. To me, that is worth the $20, if you ask me. That is a funny joke. Anyway, I digress. And I don't know what that means, by the way. I digress. I just say shit like that in sentences to make myself sound more sophisticated, grown up. I digress. Touche, that's another one. I say that all the time and I have no idea what it means. Touche. Sometimes I'll go to Starbucks just so that I can say venti. Like, I don't even want a coffee. I just want to be able to say venti. It sounds cool to me. Because I'm never using that outside of Starbucks. I'm not. I'm never going out with my friend, like walking down the street on the weekend going, hey, Whoopi. I got a friend named Whoopi. Say, hey, Whoopi, check out the size of that venti cloud up there. I never say that. Well, you might be sitting there thinking, well, actually, Garrett, venti is the Italian word for 20, which refers to the 20 ounces in the larger size of the Starbucks cup. Which, first of all, fuck you, you pretentious douche. Second of all, even still, I'm never out with my friends on a weekend, you know? Going out to the bar, going with my buddies, you'll be like, hey, Geppetto. I got a friend named Geppetto. Going, hey, Geppetto, check out the grande tits on that tall 20-year-old. I never say that. Anyway, I digress. Touche. So, we good? How you guys doing here? What's the best? I want to know what the best is.
The speakers in the bathroom.
Oh, I know. Actually, that is a cool feature, too. You can go and do your cocaine in there and you don't have to miss the show. God knows that's what you fuckers are doing. I can read body language. As soon as your buddy comes back, you're going to the washroom, aren't you, pal? I've noticed that this whole I'm seeing everything. I'm very aware of what to address and what not to right now. Will you guys be like weirded out if I just step into the washroom for a second? That would be a little obvious, wouldn't it? I come back, I'm all serious. Let's get some blow. Let's do it like as a group. Run for the house. I feel like there are few enough of us here that we could make a call. I just want to get that headline. Comedian does cocaine with entire audience. Immediately signed to Netflix special. I want that headline. I'm probably gonna get arrested now for saying that. These guys are probably cops right here. Take me downtown, or here in St. John, take me uptown for whatever reason. Just to be different. For those of you listening to this album, it's the only city on earth that calls their downtown uptown. It's not even up, there's just a hill. It's not up, it's not up. It's downtown. Get your officer to take me uptown. And there he goes. What'd I tell you? I told you. It better be a good rip, buddy. They're cheering for you. What a feeling that must be. He's in the washroom right now getting ready. Everyone's like, yeah! Do it! Do that cocaine! He's like, by the way, there is a camera right here, so we can see who that was. I'm gonna put him in the credits. Get arrested, taken uptown. The precinct. Officer's like, state your name. My name is Night Danger! I don't know what character that is I've created. All right, this is getting a little crazy here. We're slipping off the rails here. Slipping off the rails, so to speak. All right, this is too much. Schnee talk. I don't even know where the hell I am anymore. Oh yeah, I know that. I am not uptown. Fuck you guys. This is not uptown. I don't even think you know what you're applauding right now. That's how happy you guys are in New Brunswick. All right, back to the jokes. It's Friday. Yeah, you guys are elated. I'm gonna try my best to stay on track here. You guys are fun, and I'm loving talking to you. But I've got to get these jokes out. You know, it is an album after all I'm making. So excuse me while I just fight my way through these goddamn jokes. I've got a bit of a long and complicated story. Like, I grew up in Australia, but I was born in Canada. I've always held a Canadian passport, and it really blew me away. I was getting my Canadian passport renewed recently, and I had a look what was on the front, which is the Canadian coat of arms. And it really tripped me out, because I realized the Canadian coat of arms has nothing to do with Canada. It tells us nothing about the country. So based on this, I did some research to check out other countries' coat of arms to see if theirs made sense, and for the most part, they do. For example, America's coat of arms. On it, there's an eagle. Where's the cameraman? He's got some kind of a shrubbery here he's flying away with. Great, that makes sense. We all know that America's animal's the eagle. Australia's coat of arms also makes sense. On one side, there's a kangaroo. And on the other side, there's an emu. That apparently looks like Mick Jagger. And yes, there is. Why the fuck would I stand here and lie to you? She said, no, there isn't. Yes, there is. Fuck you, Google it, then interrupt my fucking show, okay? Trust me, I've done my research. Fuck. Like, who gives a shit even if there isn't? Just listen to the joke. Like, of all things to lie to you about, it's the Australian coat of arms. Anyway, the Canadian coat of arms, and yes, this is true. On one side, there's a lion with a mane. A lion for Canada. And on the other side, folks, there's a unicorn. A mythical beast. The only thing that tells me about Canada is that there's a lot of weed here. Because if you want to smoke weed, you're going to go to the country with the mythological, winged, flying horned horse. On that country's coat of arms, the thing that represents the country best. Not to mention the African lion. And it's Canada's way of saying, hey, we have the reefer. Up here. Come blaze, Japan. Bring the Philippines. Screw it. I say that since we've gone this far, we might as well just let Quebec separate. On one side, they can have a big poutine on their coat of arms, with cheese and cocaine all over it. A stripper coming out of it. And on the other side, maybe a centaur, that goat guy. Some dragons flying around the background. I'm a dragon. I am from Quebec, tabarnak. Les poissons. Hi hi hi. Oh. It's more like the coat of arms for Narnia, for Christ's sake. You guys are in Eastern Canada. You guys are a bit of a sporty town, or no? Do you guys like your hockey here? Yeah, hockey. Yeah. I've tried. I've tried sports. Like, that's the closest thing that I've come. Sorry to disappoint you. It's like, I can't do it. Aww! We almost liked you! I can't. I've tried. No, sincerely, I just don't think about it during the day. I can't. Whatever. If I'm with friends that enjoy it, it's fun, but I don't think about sports. I grew up in... I feel like I moved to Canada at such an age where, like, I got mixed up. Like, I grew up with rugby and very different sports. Rugby is awesome. It's very fast-paced. So, naturally, I liked hockey because it's quick. Football, like CFL, NFL, I understand is more strategic. But I feel like they, like, play for 5 seconds and then talk about it for 10 minutes. It's like, pick up the ball and run. And take off your helmet too, you punts. But that said, I understand that you know it's strategy. My dad used to play in the CFL. My dad had a wicked career in the CFL, and he went down and played in the NFL for 1 year as well. He played for the LA Rams in 1979. They actually went to Super Bowl 14 when my dad was playing for them. So my dad's got a Super Bowl ring. It's pretty cool. So all the weirder, Ken Clark, he was a punter. Ken Clark, he played for Saskatchewan, Toronto, Ottawa, Hamilton. That's right, yeah, good shit, man, yeah. So anyway, so all the weirder that I'm not really like, I don't know what the hell. You know, but when I was moving to Canada, my dad was very excited to teach me about the sport. He was stoked. I remember very clearly watching a game with him, Saskatchewan versus Toronto. Half-time rolled around, and I had to ask my old man a question. I was like, Dad, why is the team of a province playing the team of a city? And he was like... I guess he'd never really thought about it before. But he was quick on his feet and he said, well, son, it's a population thing. If Saskatchewan had more people in it, maybe one of the bigger cities would have a team, just like Toronto does. Which is a good answer. But I call bullshit. For one reason alone. Canadians have a very good sense of humor. And come on, if Regina had a sports team... You'd have to fuck with the name. You'd have to call it something like the Regina Infections. Just to hear the play-by-play, right? Well, when Toronto takes a hit below the belt by the Regina Infections. They're making Toronto itch and itch and itch. Oh, the tables have turned. Toronto is eating Regina for breakfast. What a game! Or if that's too much for you, maybe the Regina monologues would be more appropriate. Look. Look, the point is, everything from that city sounds disgusting. Even if you change the name of the team that they have now from the province of Saskatchewan to the city of Regina, that would sound terrible. The Regina Rough Riders? Ew! And by the way, when you see that city name written on a map, that's not what that word says. I dated a girl from Regina for a couple years. We went to Hawaii together, rented a car. The girl at the counter in Hawaii had never seen that city name written down before. So she looked at it and she said, oh, what's life like in? How do you think she pronounced it? No, she did not pronounce it Regina. Regina, that's right. Yeah. Do you know why she pronounced it Regina? Because that's what that fucking word says. It's a woman's name, and it's pronounced Regina, ladies and gentlemen. Do you just know that when Canada was making its city names official with world maps, we just had some stoner from Sussex representing the whole goddamn country? Like, World Maps was like, all right, Canada, it's your turn. It looks like over here we've got Vancouver. Up here is Edmonton, Calgary down here, Saskatoon, Regina, Winnipeg. He's like, no, man. Regina. Because it rhymes with pussy. Screw it. Why stop there, Saskatchewan? Have a whole new theme going on, huh? Regina, Saskatoon, keep it going. And for the record, I mean, you guys all know, like, every province is guilty of having ridiculous town names. They really are. But Saskatchewan's has a theme. Like, out east, you guys all know, we all know dildo. For those of you listening, wherever you are, there's a place in eastern Canada called Dildo. And in the same province, there's Come By Chance. And in the same province, there's Spread Eagle. That's just Newfoundland. But Saskatchewan seems to have a theme. It's got some sort of an anatomical order going on out there. The body. They love the body. There's an eyebrow in Saskatchewan. Eyebrow. That's happening right now. People are writing letters that say eyebrow Saskatchewan on them. That's true. There's also an elbow Saskatchewan. There's also a climax Saskatchewan, which, from what I understand, is right around Regina. A little bit to the north, if I'm not mistaken. Correct me if I'm wrong. Before I get too far from it, the Siri thing, you can get your iPhone to call you whatever you want now, which is a lot of fun. You can say, hey Siri, from now on call me handsome or master or whatever. And every now and then, she'll refer to you as that. She'll be like, your alarm is set for 9:30 in the morning, handsome. It's great. Mine calls me big dick because that never doesn't feel good to hear. Sometimes she won't say it for like 3 weeks, but she'll won't say it for a month, and she'll be like, here's your reminder to feed the dog, big dick. I don't care who died that day, that never doesn't feel good to hear. That never doesn't put a smile on your face. Look, I don't know if it's gonna work here in this beautiful room, but let's try. There might be a reception thing. Who am I?
You're Garrett, but you asked me to call you Big Dick.
I was showing this my iPhone in general, off to my ex-girlfriend's dad. It was the second time I met him, and I showed him one of the features, and I said, hey Siri, show me a list of the flight numbers in my vicinity. It was a cool feature. She'll give you the list of the flight numbers in your area, where they're going. It's great. But this used to be one of the little tricks that she would refer to you as your nickname. It was the second time I'd met my ex-girlfriend's dad. Quiet kitchen, West Kelowna, British Columbia. Silent marble countertop. Gray hair, bald head, quiet man. Gray hair, bald head, figure that one out. It's true. Both things are true, okay? Anyway, I said, show me a list of the flight numbers. Quiet kitchen, piercing quiet, trying hard to make conversation. Siri says, here's a list of the flight numbers, big dick. And I'm like, like I tried to mumble past the sound of the iPhone before it got to his ears to scramble it. He heard it. It was fucking horrible, so just be careful what you get your iPhone to call you, okay? Can come out at the worst time, trust me. How we all doing? We good? Yeah? All right, good. I don't know. I have no idea when I got on. I probably should have paid attention to that. I'm doing my jokes anyway. Yeah. When I got into St. John, I've actually been here, in New Brunswick for almost 3 weeks. I was in Fredericton and then St. Andrews by the Sea this last weekend, and now here. And when I got into St. John 2.5 weeks ago, I dropped my stuff off. I went for a walk downtown, beautiful downtown, and within 20 minutes of being here, I saw a grown man throwing up on the street. Middle of the day, puking. And not like a homeless guy. It was like a suit guy. Puking. And it really upset me. I hadn't seen someone throw up in a long time. I was bothered. I saw him and I said, ooh, I said. And I watched the whole puke. I watched too much of it. And I felt like a lot of things. It was like, I thought this poor man, he's so vulnerable. I think that's one of the worst parts about throwing up, is the vulnerability. Is that if you're puking, anyone can come up to you and mess with your body, mess with your life, and you can't do anything about it. It takes everything in you to throw up. You can't even puke and be like, text a friend and be like, sorry, puking, be right back. Blah! No, it takes everything in you. I don't care if you're a UFC fighter. If you're throwing up, anyone can come up to you and finger your asshole. And you're just taking it at that point. But the one part, I think, is just that image. You don't even need to run, just... But the one part that I think is the worst about throwing up, I don't know if any of you guys have this thought. I think this every time I throw up into a toilet. I can't help but think that my face and my open eyes are now in the exact same elevation, the exact same latitude and longitude, the exact same place in the universe that about 43,622 assholes have been before it shitting. That's where shit starts. That's where every shit comes into the world, where my face is now incredibly open going, ah! Like this horrible stained piece of air is now where I am the most intimate. I can't get that out of my head. Diarrhea, right here. Gonorrhea. Everything Rhea. All the Rheas. Rhea Perlman from Cheers, she was there. Rhea Perlman reference. Thank you for appreciating that. And by the way, that's an accurate joke, ladies and gentlemen. I did the math. That's based on a 20-year-old house with 2 occupants, hooping twice a day each. 2 guests a week for good measure. 43,622 assholes. So if you didn't like the joke, at least it's mathematically accurate. And that's what I like to call a nice, well-rounded, poopy math joke, ladies and gentlemen. I have some unreasonable fears. I don't know how we don't hear about this more, but how are bathtubs not just constantly falling through ceilings? Like, how is that not something I've even heard of once? When I'm in the bath, I always think I'm going to finish my bath in a different apartment than where I started that bath. Water is heavy. Not to mention when you're in an apartment building, all the baths are in the same spot. I know it. It's the symmetrical apartment. How are people not just, just once have I never heard of that. Oh, hey, what's up? No, keep going. Someone's just bathing now. He's at the show. Another fear. Big fan of Timbits. Love Timbits. I think it's great. I think it's brilliant. It's the middle of the donut that we used to throw away. Someone thought, no, let's glaze it, sell it. Better than the donut. It's wonderful. There's something that concerns me about the donut, though, about the Timbit, because, I mean, it's just wonderful in every way. There's something more, though, that I like aesthetically. I think I want to shove one up my ass. No, not sexually, just because I love it so much. It's like, it's the perfect little nugget. I can't get it in me enough. I feel like I just want it in my body. Not, I said I think. So I'm afraid what's going to happen there. I'm afraid as I get older that my nose is going to get just more and more congested over time. I can never breathe out of my nose. I'm afraid that I'm going to go to the nostrologist one day to get it fixed, and they won't be able to do anything about it. But even more so, I'm afraid, that one day I will show up to the nostrologist, only to find out that nostrology is not a real practice. It's called an ears, nose, and throat doctor. Figure that one out. I think nostrology makes a whole lot more sense, don't you? Anyway, a lot of butt stuff right now. That's actually on my set list. I've got a bracket, butt stuff. I do. I will show every one of you. Actually, I was in Virginia not long ago. The state of Virginia. Beautiful. Arlington, Virginia. I was ignorant to the geography there. Right across the bridge from Washington, D.C. Could see all the Capitol buildings and stuff. It was great. I learned while I was in Virginia that anal sex is against the law in that state. Illegal. A class 6 felony if you want to put your dick in your friend's bum while in that state. Which trips me out for so many reasons. But my main question about this law is, who's telling? Like, who's ratting people out for doing this? Is there like an anonymous tips line, like 1-888 tips or something like that, or 1-888 brown tips maybe? Are there incognito cops going out on a weekend, you know? Chick cops. Going out to pick dudes up, take them back to their apartment with them, push the limits a little, see if they can get them to break the law. Take them home, things are getting a little hot and heavy. It's like, oh yeah, baby, that feels so good. Oh, I went on my ass, you're going to jail, motherfucker. You're going to prison. What, it was accidental. It accidentally... I was in Winnipeg shortly after that Northern Ontario run that I was doing, and I was there. I love Winnipeg. Everyone likes to shit on Winnipeg. I think it's a great city. It's got great culture, great food, great restaurants. I was there, and I always forget whenever I'm there that it's the murder capital of Canada. I was driving, and in the last 2 years I've lived in Los Angeles and in Toronto, two very driving, like aggressive cities. And I was driving there, and I was driving down the road, and I saw a car parked in front of me, so I had to merge over lanes to go around it, and I saw the guy in my rearview mirror try to speed up to not let me in. Rude move. So I went anyway, and he was like riding my ass and trying to aggressively go past me. And I was just kind of like, yeah, whatever. Like I flipped him off as he went past. Seemed to really piss him off. I didn't think anything of it. I was talking to my buddy Ryan, who was in the passenger seat. He's following me. He's trying to line up. Finally, we stop at a red light. And he lines up next to me, rolls down the window. And behind the window are two 19-year-old like homeboys. Like white boys with those like flat beaked hats. And they're, swear to God, they just look, they don't say anything. They look at me and just go, like trying to intimidate me with their look. It really made me laugh. And I don't know what got into me, but for some reason, I just looked at them and I went, and they were like, what? And then the light changed and we drove off and they left the road. I sucked a dick at them and they left. I won. So put a little effort in. Next time you're thinking of just giving someone the finger, just mess with someone. It was actually very entertaining. I suggest you try it. Keep fucking going. He said, dance, monkey, dance. This motherfucker just... Keep it down, guys, please. All right. I used to stick my fingers in my sister's ass as she ran up the stairs. How's that for keeping going, motherfucker? Listen, let me explain. If I may. Not sexually. Hilariously. And she did the same to me too, so relax everybody. Take it easy. We were single digis, I should specify. Single digis. Under 10, we were under 10. whoever was going up the stairs second would chase after the other one, be like, and the other one would be like, what? And fall on the floor and piss in their pants. It was hilarious. I think that if you do something enough times before a certain age, in a way it becomes ingrained into your DNA. Look, what I'm getting at here is that old habits die hard. And never have I been more aware that I'm now a 31-year-old man than this last Christmas visiting my mother and following my 33-year-old sister up a flight of stairs and fighting with everything in my body not to just because that's not just sibling foolery at this point. That's a lawsuit at this stage in our lives. That's a court appearance at the very least. And she felt it too. Like it was just, I didn't react physically, but just the act of walking up behind her triggered something within us instinctually. I walked up the stairs, I was just like, oh my God, I can't believe we used to do that. But she felt something too, because she walked up the stairs like this. She was like, she was clenching. Because of old habits, baby. They die hard. And sexually as well, old habits die hard. If you've ever dated someone for an extended period of time, broken up, gone on to a new partner, it's very hard to go back to what just normal sex is supposed to be at the beginning of a relationship. Because when you're with someone for a while, you start pushing the limits a little, huh? You get to know each other a little better, you trust each other, you keep it exciting. You know what I'm talking about, St. John? Huh? Maybe a little slapping, huh? Just to see, you know? Maybe a little choking, huh? But don't keep doing it if it's not going over. I'm just saying, a little tester, a little throat press, you know? Just to see the reaction. You don't know who you're dealing with, huh? Maybe. Call her a whore. Look, those are just 3 examples, okay? You know what I'm getting at here, okay? Use your own imagination. Well, I was dating a young lady for a couple of years, and we broke up. About a month or 2 later, I slept with the first girl I slept with in that full period of time, and I fucked it up royally because of the old habits I had with my last girlfriend. You know when you're just kissing someone, you know the rest is gonna be good? You just have that spark, it's just, and your dick is just, one of those crazy boners you can throw anything on and drag it out of the room with you. Everything was going great. And like, we were kissing so, and our shirts came off so fluidly. I got her bra off, first try, one hand. Ting, tits up. Thank you, girls, I appreciate it. And dude, whoever that was, thank you for the support. And we're kissing. Her hair was beautiful, like in a movie, just waving down her shoulder. We're walking to the bed while kissing. We're not even tripping on each other. Just, it was gorgeous. But then, we get to the bed. Look, I didn't call her a whore. I asked her if she was one. It was in the form of a question. I was like, oh yeah, are you a little whore? And she was like, excuse me? I was like, oh shit, you're not Vanessa. She was mortified, put her shirt on, and immediately left the hostel. It was very upsetting. So I chased after her and I shoved my fingers in her ass and she peed and we laughed. It was hilarious. Old habits, baby. Die hard. Oh, what a thrill. Has anyone been to Thailand here? I just got back. It's what everyone says it's going to be, Thailand, which is a cheap destination. So based on that, I got myself a little hut on a beach. And to me, when I think of a hut on a beach, I think of things like sunshine, paradise, hammocks, that sort of thing. But no, that's Hawaii. As it turns out, in Thailand, the entire country is on ecstasy. There are raves going on in Thailand until 4 o'clock in the morning at full volume playing unsa unsa music on the fucking beach. I swear to God, it would have been more quiet to sleep in the middle of that chaos, in the middle of the unsa unsa music, with the dirty Australians running around going, fucking yeah! Smoke some cones, pop some pills, fucking yeah! Why is it, by the way, that everything with a thick Australian accent sounds like a question? It's that inflection up at the end of the sentence, I think. Oh, I think I'm gonna go for a swim. Oh, I think I'm gonna come on your tits. It's like, are you asking or telling me? Shut up and go back to Banff, you disgusting people. But it would have been more quiet to sleep in the middle of this chaos than it was in my hut. Because everything in the hut was vibrating off the shelves because of the bass from the unsa unsa music. Which, by the way, I'm pretty sure that's the name of a very popular German DJ. Please stay tuned after the break for more with Unsa Unsa. The sissiest word I've ever heard in my entire life is the German word for the number 5, and that is pronounced fünf. Sissiest word I've ever heard in my entire life. How old are you, little boy? I am 5. Wow, that's great. Very nice. Hi, 5. The second sissiest word is also a German word. It's a very effeminate language. It's the German name of an airline. And that is pronounced Lufthansa. Lufthansa. I think it's that part, the Luft. The L-U-F-T. That's a very effeminate series of letters. Luft. Luft. I don't know why I picture a scrotum. Luft, 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 Luft. Like, being encouraged. Luft, Luft, Luft. Like, come on, boys, you can do it! Or like a bidet, like, Luft, 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 Luft. A bidet, but for your dick. A bidet. That's the noise a bidet makes. Luft, Luft, Luft. And then the second part of that word is no better. Ansa. Ansa. Luft. Ansa. I don't know why, but I picture someone picking a grape up with their asshole. I don't know why that's that noise. Ansa. Ansa. Luft. Ansa. Luft. Ansa. Luft. Ansa. Luft. Ansa. Thank you for flying with Lufthansa on our new 7P7-400. Now with non-stop service to Frankfurt and Regina and your sister's cooter. We will play Unsa Unsa as we board, and boarding will commence at gate 5. If you have a problem with today's service, please call 555-5595. Okay, that's pretty much been beaten to death at this point. I think we can move on. I tagged that joke enough. I tagged that joke so much that I'm legitimately wearing a shirt that says Hi Funf on it. That's called commitment to a bit, motherfuckers. Not very good at the dating thing. I tend to get to around 5 dates consistently and I screw it up. I'm a comedian. I make inappropriate jokes during serious times. It's how I deal with those situations. I was out with a young lady recently. We went out about 5 times. 5 times. And we went out for a casual lunch with her mum. And I started telling this girl's mum about the Aussie burger, which, if you don't know, same as a normal burger, but on it there's also a fried egg and a beet. It sounds messed up, but it's actually delicious. Well, this girl's mum lost her shit. When I started talking about the beets, she was like, oh my God, beets, I love those things. And I don't know why this girl's mum has the voice of a homosexual man in this joke, but I've committed and goddammit, I will finish in character. She said, they're so good for you. I chop them up. I put them in my salad. They're so healthy. You know, I pickle my own beets. And that's when I felt it appropriate to say, that's interesting, Mrs. McGraw, that you pickle your own beets. Because I beat my pickle. And there was no 6th date. But I am dating her mother now, and that's going swimmingly. St. John, you guys have been so much fun. Thank you so much. Good night, everybody. you. Yeah, 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 yeah. Guitar 1, Guitar 2, and vocals by Garrett Clark. Shoot the thrill. AC/DC. Shoot to thrill! Place to go! Yeah! That's as good as it's gonna get.